Patriots Nation woke up to signs of change today. Quiet reinforcements arrived. A long-awaited return could flip the switch in the secondary. A rookie is knocking on the offense's door, and behind the scenes, a billion-dollar move hints at the franchise's future. But nothing is simple in Foxborough. Every piece has a domino effect, and some decisions might surprise even the most confident. Who should earn more snaps? What does this say about the plan for Carolina and beyond? You won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, drop a like, and let's jump straight into the news. No spoilers. Trust me. You know when two quiet moves change the whole board. That's exactly what happened in Foxborough to start the week. While everyone was debating offense and the secondary, two open practice squad spots suddenly became the center of the game plan for the Panthers. And it's no exaggeration. The staff went after immediate versatility to install specific looks, bolster depth, and if needed, promote someone on Saturday. Who arrived? Hold that thought, because before the names comes the message. The plan is to speed up adjustments without tipping anything to the opponent. The first addition brings a rare profile, a 6'3", 240-pound tight end who began as a wide receiver at Ohio State, used to attacking tight windows, adjusting angles after the snap, and blocking in space. At 24, he returns to Foxborough after Final Cut's waivers and a brief August stint on the practice squad. In the Big Ten, he posted 47 catches for 393 yards and 3 touchdowns across 52 games, with 16 starts. In the preseason, he logged 48 offensive snaps and showed zone feel, fearlessness over the middle, and reliable hands on third down. Yes, it's the return of G. Scott Jr., a piece that fits hand in glove in 12 personnel with motion to diagnose coverage. He offers 3 immediate gains, option routes in third and short, competent split zone blocking, and just enough seam threat to force the safety to honor the middle. That opens space for Josh McDaniels' quick game and gives Drake May a security blanket when the pocket squeezes. This isn't about gaudy numbers, it's about leveraging design and keeping the chains moving. The second arrival addresses a need fans feel every time the pocket caves inside: pass protection and baseline versatility along the line. Royce Newman, 28, a 2021 fourth-rounder by the Packers, brings 52 NFL games with 24 starts, totaling 1,721 offensive snaps and 174 on special teams. Primarily a right guard, he's also played left guard and right tackle on a short week, with the Panthers leaning on reduced fronts plus stunts and twists to muddy the gaps. Having a lineman who can slide between spots without tanking communication is gold. Even if Newman isn't elevated on Sunday, his presence upgrades the scout team, stabilizes protection reps, and reduces the risk of game day improvisation. And the timing flowed from a chain of moves. The Jets signed linebacker Mark Robinson, and the Browns signed tackle Thayer Munford Jr., which opened precisely 2 practice squad vacancies the Patriots filled with intent, not inertia. Bottom line, 2 understated moves with direct impact on the plan. A new tool for McDaniels, a sturdier screw in protection, and above all, flexibility to tweak on Saturday if needed. And if that already lifts the mood, wait for the next one, because there's a development in the secondary that might flip the fan base's outlook in an instant. What the fan base has most wanted since July finally looks close to happening. After weeks of uncertainty, mixed signals, and a silence that only ramped up the anxiety, Mike Vrabel dropped a hint that could change the defense's short-term trajectory. Christian Gonzalez, the jewel of the secondary, is very close to returning, and it's no exaggeration to say that his presence changes everything. Remember the impact he had as a rookie before the injury last year. Remember that feeling of confidence when the ball went his way. That's the exact energy that's been missing. The plan was to see Gonzalez paired with Carlton Davis III, potentially the NFL's best corner duo, but so far that's lived only on paper. The bigger issue wasn't just Gonzalez's absence, it was the inconsistency that spread through the secondary without him. Young players stepped in and competed, but the level didn't sustain. Against dominant receivers like DK Metcalf, the cracks widened. Vrabel, straightforward as ever, admitted he held the player back longer than expected to avoid setbacks, but he made one thing clear: this week feels different. The belief is that Gonzalez is finally ready to make his season debut, fittingly against the Panthers. So what? Some might think, since Carolina isn't the scariest opponent. That's the catch. They're coming off a blowout of the Falcons and showed they can punish defenses that slip. Without Gonzalez, that's a major risk. With him, the approach shifts completely, freeing the safeties and taking pressure off developing corners. The return also brings a powerful psychological lift. A defense searching for a foothold gets its anchor back. Teammates exhale, coordinators gain freedom to dial up pressure, and the opposing offense loses an escape valve. It's not only technique or talent, it's confidence and presence. When healthy, Gonzalez doesn't shy from big matchups, and if he really returns Sunday, he could be the spark that reignites the defensive fire. And the timing couldn't be better. After the Panthers comes the Bills, one of the season's biggest tests. Facing Josh Allen with a vulnerable secondary would be asking for trouble. With Gonzalez on the field, it's a different game. The locker room knows it, the fans know it, and the expectation is sky high. But as always in Foxborough, nothing is simple. Will the timing work? Can he handle the tempo? Or is Vrabel playing with expectations to keep opponents guessing? One thing's certain, if Gonzalez does step on the field, the atmosphere at Gillette shifts instantly. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the week, because while the defense awaits its savior, the offense might be on the verge of a plot twist nobody saw coming. If there's a position that lives on a roller coaster in Foxborough, it's wide receiver. The expectation was that 2025 would finally mark a turn after the arrivals of Stefon Diggs, Matt Callens, and rookie Kyle Williams. But 3 weeks in, it feels like the same old frustration. Something still isn't clicking, and the biggest target of criticism has a name: Demario Douglas. The wideout came off an encouraging training camp, and there was talk he could seize the WR2 role. In practice, though, he hasn't converted the hype into production. So far, limited separation, imprecise routes, and for many fans, an underwhelming impact. And football doesn't wait, which fuels impatience, especially because there's an in-house name that seems to be screaming for a shot: Efton Kism III. Kism shined in the preseason. He didn't look like an undrafted rookie. He looked like a vet, quickly absorbed the playbook, dominated slot snaps, and stayed cool on third down. Fans couldn't understand why he was a healthy scratch to open the year. Here's the clarification straight from the staff: he's on the 53-man roster, but has been inactive on game days. A choice Mike Vrabel owned, as he opted to dress only 5 receivers each week. In his most recent presser, though, the tone shifted. He didn't close the door on Kism, and in fact hinted the debut could be near. Imagine the impact. McDaniels is back calling the offense and has historically loved dynamic slot receivers. That's the position that's thrived in his systems, from Wes Welker to Julian Edelman. There's always been a name ready to become the quarterback's safety valve. With Drake Mays still adjusting, wouldn't it make perfect sense to give him a trustworthy target in that mold? That's exactly the case fans are making. There's more. Even with Diggs on board, the group lacks consistent juice. Douglas hasn't delivered. Callens is more physical than nuanced, and Williams is learning. Kism could be the spark, the player who breaks the offense's predictability. If it works, it raises the room's ceiling and eases the load currently falling almost entirely on Diggs. If it doesn't, at least the staff will have tried, and some of the heat will shift off the coaches. Social feeds are already buzzing. Fans want Kism active against the Panthers, some insisting it can't get worse. The mood is one of anticipation, almost like a mini quarterback debut. He's not just another rookie, he's a potential turning point. And when the topic is offense, any spark can become a wildfire. But while fans fixate on the field, something even bigger is unfolding behind the scenes. A move that could redefine the Patriots' financial and strategic future. What looked like just another routine week prepping for the Panthers took on historic dimensions in the background. For the first time since 1994, when Robert Kraft bought the franchise, the New England Patriots are selling a slice of ownership. It might sound strange. Fans are used to the Kraft family holding complete control, but this shift says a lot about where the NFL is today and how the Patriots are positioning for tomorrow. According to Sports Business Journal, 8% of the team has been negotiated. The split, 6th Street, an investment giant already tied to the Celtics, Cowboys and Yankees, gets 3%, and billionaire Dean Metropoulos of Metropolis & Co. gets the other 5%. The estimated valuation on the transaction, $9 billion, a number that by itself explains the Patriots' market power. Robert Kraft is not giving up control. The remaining 92% stays with the family, which will continue setting the franchise's direction. This was only possible because of the NFL's 2024 policy allowing pre-approved private equity firms to buy up to 10% stakes. In other words, the Patriots are leaning into a new business model that's beginning to reshape pro football at scale. What does it mean for fans? First, fresh capital. Expectations are that the money will be reinvested directly in the franchise. From infrastructure upgrades to long-range projects tied to the stadium and football operations. Picture an even more modern Gillette Stadium, or expansions that make the team even more attractive to players and sponsors. Second, a market signal. Even after years without a Super Bowl, the Patriots remain among the NFL's most valuable brands. Estimated at $9.25 billion, they sit in the league's top 5. That matters for prestige and for leverage. Players and agents see stability, financial muscle, and institutional seriousness. There's an emotional dimension too. Some fans dislike the idea of selling pieces of the team. There's worry about identity or becoming beholden to investors. Kraft has tried to calm those nerves, framing it as a win-win. He said he never thought he'd sell anything but saw a way to strengthen the club without compromising the culture. One final detail: the agreements still require approval from NFL owners, with a vote scheduled for October 21, 22. If ratified, it would be the second largest private equity sale in league history, behind only the Giants' pending deal. Once again, the Patriots are center stage on and off the field. which raises the question fans really care about. Could this capital injection accelerate the competitive rebuild and get the franchise back to the top faster than anyone expects? So that's the picture. Patriots Nation. Discreet reinforcements sharpened the game plan. Gonzalez's return promises to reorganize the defense. Efton Kism's potential debut gives the offense the spark it's been missing. And off the field, a billion-dollar move signals ambition and structure for the future. Carolina is the first test for this new energy. The question is, are we ready to turn expectation into execution on Sunday at Gillette? Who should get more snaps and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Together we push, we roar, and we drive this team back to the top.